I also did not believe I would live up to this age, because my early years were very turbulent. I was very sickly.
I just bumped into this late chief Raymond Dokpesi's video. How he talked about how he never believes that he will live up to 70 years. We all know that he died at 71. This was when he was 70 that he was talking about all the challenges he has passed through in life. And he said that one of the things he regrets in his life is being a polygamist. I think he married 2 wives. Hey, and he regrets ever being a polygamist. That he never wished, he can't wish it upon his enemy. Talk more of his friends. He be like polygamy show this man pepper. And some people they proud with polygamy. I'm a proud polygamist. Hey, as in listening to this man, I didn't even know he was this good and kind. Let's listen to his interview. May God rest your soul, sir. At least may we use this one and remember you. Hey.
In my early years, that I could live up to 70. I also did not believe I would live up to this age, because my early years were very turbulent. I was very sickly, and quite a lot of things came up, right from the fact that I was not able to talk in my very early years. But that also helped my reading abilities and so on, because I could only, in most cases, read and write what I needed to put across. But after going through the University Teaching Hospital, Ibadan, at that time, and all the treatments that I got, I started talking, although with a lot of difficulties and challenges, and that affected my singing ability, my chord, over the years and so on. But soon after I got out of that, I became again terribly sick, and this time University Teaching Hospital, no hospital could help me, and my parents, and especially my mother, who was most touched by the development, ran from pillar to pole, as it were, went through all the hospitals that she knew, went through all the herbalists, all the native doctors, all the prayer people, the groups and so on, from church to church, all the fasting that was possible, in order to make sure that I remained well and I could go ahead. No little role did my father also play in ensuring that I survived, made all the sacrifices, but the ailment could not be properly diagnosed in any hospital, and there was no native medicine that appeared to have been possible at that time to deal with the ailment. It was not until 1965 or 1966, thereabouts, that I had the opportunity to, I was taken by my parents from Benin City to Agenegude, and from Agenegude we went on a boat across to a place that on the river Niger was called Usunene, and we walked almost 2 kilometers from the bank of the river inwards, and the members of my family were taken along to come, and that was about the last hope of my father and my mother, that I was going to get any type of reprieve if it was possible. But everybody had almost given up totally on me at that time. And by the time I got across to the place, Osunene, I just sincerely didn't even know where I was and how we got there, except for the fact that we traveled by boat. And there, I think we were almost about 10, 11. My father my mother, my grandmother, my stepmothers, my father's sisters, and my elder brother's wife, and so on. We all went there. And there it was, behold, after my father had consulted and whether the herbalist or whoever he was at that time, what he could be described of, said, well, coincidentally, he is very sure that the people that were here could assist in getting this boy well. And that it is not, there is something great about it. If you are sure that you are able, that you are desirous, as my mother, did you give this your son to anybody as sacrifice here on earth or in any mystic or far away this thing? Have you given him any medication that is going to, that has made him so sick that everybody is anxious? Well, they asked everybody around and so on. And after that, they gave, he brought, said, well, this is pot of water. You, the sick boy, take this cup of water, drink it. And ask every other person to say, okay, this is the cup of water, you take it. If you say your heart is clean, you say you are not responsible this thing, ask your God to help you. And I took the water and so on. And coincidentally, I started vomiting. And gradually, the heavy congestion that I had in my abdomen and in my body and so on, I kept on vomiting. But in between the period, some people said they were responsible for the level of ailment.
Oh, they confessed.
They confessed. And some of them are still alive today. Those that witnessed the story and witnessed this thing, they are still alive. So, in that way and manner, that was about the time I got back to school properly, that I was able to focus and concentrate. And from there onwards, I think the sky was the limit. I did not intend, I never planned to be polygamous in life.
Okay.
The experiences, my health experiences, Usunene and the rest of things were definitely not going to support the argument for polygamy. I set out to, and if there's anything I regret in my life, being polygamous is one of the major things that I regret, which I do not wish the worst of my enemies before you talk of the people I love. But having said that much, I just simply want to state the fact that, yes, I had opportunity, success. I was first generation of the Dokpesis, who was a multimillionaire and so on. And when you don't have that tradition of success and that one, you do a lot of crazy things because there's nobody to guide you. And everybody is afraid to talk to you because of the level of success you have achieved. That is one. But basically, my own case was a little bit different. I was married to a Polish woman. The Polish woman was the only child of her family. She needed to stay with her family, and I wanted to be in Nigeria. I didn't want to remain abroad. So, come to Nigeria was difficult. Me going to Poland to stay was also difficult. And there's no living marriage, unfortunately. That type of separation does not support that. So she was there and I was there. And I know that at the time I came back, it is very true. None of my sisters, none of my brothers, none of my parents wanted to have a foreign daughter-in-law, as it was, an Igbo woman. So the pressure on me to get married to a Nigerian was very high. But that was not even but for the breakdown of some family values at that time. The interference in what was my destiny. A scar I had to carry along. I traveled from Nigeria to Poland not less than 16 times, trying to plead with my wife to please come back to Nigeria, to spend some time. I brought back to Nigeria her parents and so on. But after 1 year, they too also wanted to go back to their country, to their values and so on. So we couldn't just get that sorted out. That it got to the point that I had to beg God, and I said it publicly, and I wrote it down in one of the terms of agreement with my wife, that Almighty God will give me children that are my own, that I don't have to travel to come and plead, to come and visit, or to bring down to this thing. So it became necessary for me to break my vows and have a second wife. And from a second wife and so on, I was not used to any Nigerian woman. I didn't grow up with a Nigerian woman that I would say I was the one that I was associated with. The parents turned me down on the grounds of the fact that my parents were poor and I cannot marry their daughter. So there was nothing I could do. So along the line, one child there, the second child, but the children are very successful, very brilliant, so I have to thank Almighty God for his blessings along those lines.